Oh, Friday, yes.
Friday, yes.
Friday I did the fireball, not last night.
And how's the con been for you so far?
It's been wonderful. You guys have been, it's just been the best time. You guys have been so kind to us. It's been a fantastic way to spend St. Patrick's weekend. It's wonderful.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, so we're going to open up to audience questions, but we have a few that have been submitted online, if you don't mind.
Of course.
Okay, we're going to start off real strong here. Is there a flashback or storyline that you would have liked to have explored for Antari? And this question's from Samara Herond online.
I would have loved to see what she was referring to when she was talking about snatched by the Queen of Asgara. I think seeing her young and what they went through, because all of us in Ice Nation, we just sort of made guesses and like tried to fit the puzzle pieces together as to what their childhood was like, but I think it would have been really cool to see.
Did you, in your own mind, create a backstory for Antari?
Totally. I think it would have been a similar situation where like, she was a Nightblood, probably a decent human being, and then the Queen really messed that up for her.
Do you think that Echo and Antari would have been friends?
Probably. Is anyone in the 100 really friends to begin with? I think they probably would have butted heads at first and then maybe seen that they could have worked together to achieve something great. Yes, exactly, allies, that's the way to put it, yeah.
And you know, a lot of people are fascinated by grounder culture and Ice Nation specifically, too much coffee. You know, I wonder like Antari's parents and how she became involved with the Ice Nation and like, you know, your relationship with Rowan. So interesting. Mentor, like how did you interpret your relationship?
Well, I know at first Zach and I were sort of discussing like, are they brother and sister maybe? But then again, I don't know. I have no idea. I think maybe, I don't think they were related. And I think maybe Rowan almost, in a sense, just sort of, I think all of us were just following what the Queen wanted at that point, while she was still alive.
Would you say you had anything in common at all with Antari?
No.
Except maybe fierce loyalty.
Loyalty, yeah, that's a good answer. She was very loyal, and I hope to be the same.
I think you are.
Thank you, Jen.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I would like to know how many hours in the makeup chair it took to achieve the Antari look, and what was that process like for you?
I think similar again with the other characters, in order to establish the look, like that's what takes the longest time, is because they're creating something that doesn't exist. And so playing with the scarification, finding out how much was too much or not enough, and just the placement of all that stuff. Honestly, the thing that took the longest was, I think it played in the video, was when I was covered in the black blood from like killing all the Nightblood children. That was really hard to establish how much was too much black blood and how much was an okay amount.
What was your reaction when you got that script and you're like, I'm sorry, I do what?
Yeah, it was pretty much that, exactly, yes.
You obviously are playing a character that has a darkness.
Yes.
And was it easy for you to let that go when you went home for the night after you filmed?
Yes and no. There was something about holding that head because it was weighted, that like it just felt, and it had hair on it, like it felt really real and really awful.
Wow. So it was like, what, is it just like a plastic, was it like this?
No, it was like a heavy, like prosthetic head. Like I wish, obviously you couldn't have seen it because that was a little too far. But the way it looked, it was really, really, it was dark, as so much of the 100 is, you guys know.
Right, yeah. It's not rainbows and kittens, exactly, no. Another fan submitted this question online. DC Jeffrey would like to know, would you rather spend 6 years in space with 6 other people or 6 years underground with 1,200 other people? Now, you can answer as you and as Antari.
Are you underground?
In the bunker.
Okay, in the bunker. And how many people again?
1,200 people.
Definitely that. The more people, I think.
For Rhiannon and Antari?
Oh. Yeah, I think Antari was a grounder at heart. I don't think she would want it to be up in space.
You want more people?
Definitely. More people is nice.
6 people, you might get a little cuckoo.
Whoa, for sure.
Yeah. How many of you would choose up in space with 6 people?
But it would depend what 6, right? Like if it was 6 people you didn't like, that would suck.
Yeah, everybody loves. It's a lot of time in a small space with 6 people. Yeah. TWI Ducky would like to know, how do you think Antari would have handled the whole, this is their quote, Prime Fire mess? Like how do you think that you would have dealt with the oncoming, or Antari would have dealt with the oncoming Prime Fire? What kind of role do you think she would have played?
Is this a really bad part where I don't say I watched that part? I was like, can I wing it? Can I fake this answer? But I haven't watched. After I died, I was really sad. Like I would have loved to stay in the show a lot longer. And I watch the trailer, I keep on top of everything that's going on, but it makes me sad to watch it because I really wish I could have been involved more.
That's a fair and honest answer. Yes. So don't ask her anything about Prime Fire.
Yeah.
We're going to open up to audience questions in a minute. I have one more question. Your favorite scene to film, and was it the open heart surgery?
Oh, definitely not. That was my least favorite scene to film.
Walk us through that.
It was brutal. I mean, it seems like it wouldn't because I wasn't doing anything. I was dead. But I was like, they had a table, so like a long table, and then the only thing that was exposed was my head like this, and the rest of it was trapped in, very much like a coffin. And then on top was like that fake prosthetic body. And it was just like, it felt very, when you're looking down, there's like an out-of-body experience where it sort of feels very much like it's you and it's all actually really happening. It was like, it was a disturbing sort of day, as I'm sure it was disturbing when you watched it as well.
Can you tell us what the heart was made out of, what materials they used for the inside of your cavity?
Well,
So I like to know the details, people.
Well, the same people that made the prosthetic body were the people that made Amori's hand as well. Like, they're super, super talented. So it's like that almost like skin sort of. I don't know what it's made out of, but it's like that fake prosthetic. I'm sure what they would use to make like a prosthetic limb for someone. Yeah. So it seems very, very realistic.
And having Richard Harmon massaging your heart, how was that?
Well, I've had worse days. You all know, if you've heard me speak about Richard Harmon, I don't have enough good things to say about him. He's like he's just a dream.
He's delightful.
Yeah.
Yes. Is there anyone you wish you would have had scenes with or worked with on the show?
More Richard. I would have liked to work with everybody else. I think I would have liked, Ontari didn't really have any scenes with any of the girls at all, maybe a little with Clark, but I would have loved to see how she held her own with people like Echo. I think that would have been cool.
Absolutely. Did you have to do any training for your physicality of the fights?
Yes, even the smallest little thing, like when I attacked Clark, like that is all so choreographed because they have to be so careful that no one gets hurt. That yeah, they spend a lot of time teaching you everything just to make sure everyone's safe.
Did you have a stunt double?
I did have a stunt double. Yes.
Okay, we're gonna open it up. You guys can line up. If anyone has any questions for Rhiannon about the show, Ontari, not Prime Fire. But in the meantime, also I wanted to ask you, like, do you have something on the horizon that you can promote?
I do. I have an Australian film that should be coming for release here as well. It's also sci-fi, so I think there's going to be something in it. I think sci-fi is like really killing it right now. It's hot, and it's a fun genre because it's like anything can happen. And this one we have. Oh God, I know it's so annoying. You can't say much, but it's like it's based in a small town in Australia, and there is a threat of something else arriving, and it's basically just how everyone handles, similar to the 100, like when you're in a life or death situation, how it really causes people to step up and perform.
You can't tell us the name yet?
Oh yeah, it's called Occupation.
Occupation, and it's coming. It's going to be released here.
Yeah, within a couple months it should be out here.
Excellent. Anyway, did you film it in Australia?
Yes, I filmed in Australia on the Gold Coast. It was lovely.
You're from there?
Born in Canada, grew up in Australia.
Okay, I was to say your accent.
What's happening with the accent? Yeah, I know.
Just checking. Okay, hi, first question, welcome.
Hi there. It's been about 2 years since Ontari died. Is it hard to get into her head to answer these questions, or does it come naturally?
That's a great question. Because sometimes I truly forget. But my boyfriend wanted to watch it, so I watched it with him, and it was well, yeah, he didn't love the chain scene. Even the whole time we were watching it, he's like, "Are you naked? Are you naked? What can you see? What's happening? What's covering your boobs?"
Like it was 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's okay, babe. But rewatching it, and then watching the trailer that they put together there, it really puts you back in it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, hon. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I was reading a little bit about your career last night because I did not know anything other than that you were on the 100. And I just want to say that I think that all of your fans would join me in saying that I'm very sorry for the loss.
For my loss.
Yeah, very sorry for that. My father died the same year from lung disease. So each year I try to give a charity called Lung Forest to honor his memory. But since yesterday was my birthday, and he's been so gracious to be here this weekend.
It was your birthday yesterday?
It was.
Happy belated!
Friday. But I hope it's okay. This year I decided to give that money that I normally would give to the Meow Foundation in Calgary because I read that was special I think we understand that while our birthdays are really awesome and special, that they can also be the days we miss our loved ones.
That's so nice.
I just wanted to say God bless you.
That's so nice.
Hugs are allowed and encouraged. belated too.
Thank you. Oh no, that was so nice. Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about the charity?
My sister was. I'll get emotional. Sorry, I'll try. My sister was a huge animal lover, as am I. Like a lot of you know that I'm vegan, and I truly, that's none of it's to do with health. I really don't care. I'm really just doing it for the animals. My sister was a huge, huge animal lover, and she worked at, she volunteered at a rescue center for cats, and that's how she got involved with the Meow Foundation, and it's just basically, you know, helping rescue, Fletch, I see you back there. How are you feeling? Yeah, just like looking after rescue cats and animals, and so from the bottom of my heart, like I will remember that for the rest of my life. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, I feel kind of bad. It's just like a question.
Oh no, that's okay. That's okay.
I want to ask if you play a character on Lord of the Rings who you would want to play.
No, I don't watch that either. I only watch like really bad shows. Like,
What about Harry Potter?
Oh, if I was a character on Harry Potter, what do you think? Who do you think I'd be? Please say someone nice.
Luna?
That would be good, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'll go with that.
I'm going to take that.
Okay, someone once said I would be Moaning Myrtle. I think maybe that's because my voice is
My husband always says I look like her.
How cute, you do.
Well, taking that question a bit further, is there any other show you watched and you thought, that is a role that I would love to play?
I mean, there are so many roles on The 100. All the female roles, I think, are fantastic.
Even if it's not The 100, like if there's a show out there.
Yes. I'm trying to think. Right now I'm watching Shameless. How many of you watched that?
That's good.
That's a good show. And that's another one where I think every time a girl comes on there, I'm like, that's a badass role, and I would love to play that.
I can see you doing comedy. Would you love to do comedy?
I don't know if I'd be very good at comedy, honestly.
I think she would.
Well, thank you, Jess.
Hi.
Hey, you look cute today. I like your outfit.
Thank you. So kind of building on what you mentioned earlier about working with Richard and also kind of like Antari's interactions with Murphy, I kind of want to know, what was your idea of like, what was all of that from Antari's perspective? Like, was he someone she was using, or was he someone she maybe could have had feelings for if she wasn't dealing with the whole being raised at the Ice Nation and all of that?
I think that's a great question. I think at first she very much saw, like, this is someone that I can use to get to the position I need to be. But then towards the end, I do believe that there was some bizarre sexual chemistry there between the two characters that maybe could have blossomed into something nice had they been in different circumstances. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
How were you approached to be on the show? I don't know yet.
No, that's okay. I did a self-tape, which is like the easiest kind of audition you can do. I think what's really cool about The 100 is they seem to find the cast in not so much a conventional way. For so many of the pilots and shows out there, they'll pretty much do what's called a cattle call. Well, they're literally just calling hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. But this, it's like, they sort of look in different places and will allow you to submit tapes and take your time with stuff. And it's like, you know, Eliza will talk about how she didn't even audition. So many of the people on this panel, I don't think auditioned at all. So for me, I just put down a tape and they saw the tape and liked it, and then that was it from there, which was really great.
Did you have an idea about like a character you were applying to be? Was it dark? Was it light?
It was for a grounder, that's all I knew. And so they had us use one of Lex's scenes.
Thank you.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm good.
How are you feeling?
I'm good.
Good, okay.
I'm fine. How about you? Good? Good? All right.
Thank you.
I just wanted to know who you thought would win in a fight, Octavia or Antar?
Oh, Octavia.
Really?
She's legit. Atari's not legit, man. Like, and you were raising children. Yeah, but you're killing people in your sleep, mate. Like, you can't, she's not a fighter. I think she's probably, against Octavia, there's no way. She's a real badass.
But what about Lexa? You first
Oh,
Lexa.
again, no way. I mean, what do you think?
I mean, Octavia and you, I think it would be pretty even. I mean, Echo held her own against Octavia, and you were raised, like, to
That's,
kill.
you make a valid point. Maybe I would do all right. I don't think I'd come out on top, but maybe.
I mean, I don't think you should answer so quickly.
Sorry.
I feel like maybe.
Maybe. Okay.
I have a little thing that I'm sorry.
Thank you. Hi, hon, how are you?
I'm good. Doing well, thank you. So, what was your favorite characteristic of Antari, and kind of what brought you into acting? What made you decide to go that way?
What I like the most about her, and again, not to steal an answer from Eliza, but it's how I feel as well, is that a lot of us, particularly growing up in Australia, we're just playing like the dumb girlfriend or really just dumb ditzy girls. And so to be a part of a show where these women are strong and powerful, like it feels really, really good, and I think it's time for that. And then how I got into acting, it was I feel very lucky. It was something that I've always wanted to do. And when I was 11, I started working in Australia and then just sort of continued from there. Thank you for asking.
Have you been on Home and Away or Neighbors?
Both.
I was going to say, you're Australian, you have
therefore,
to.
yeah, it's like you
Did you know any of the cast before this show?
Knew of them because it's a small sort of pond in Australia, so you know everyone that's on all the shows, but we never actually worked together at the same time.
Hi.
Hi, honey. Nice to see you today. You too. My question is, if Antari decided not to kill all the little Nightbloods, how far do you think she would have made it in the conclave? Because we know she would have been forced to do it by someone.
Yes. See, they were all a lot younger than her, though, right?
Yeah.
And so I think even if she didn't do it dirty, I think she could have won just against all the little Nightbloods because they were so little. They were just like little kids. So yeah, I think she would have done all right.
But against the ones who were in the actual conclave?
Oh no, dead, first out. Yeah. Thank you.
Hi. What character on The 100 do you think you are most like personally?
Oh, that's a fantastic question. I think Clark, personally, I would like to think I was the most like Clark. I see how much she affects all of you and just how that character, I know so much of it is Eliza and she brings all that. But there's something truly special about Clark, and I think she's just a really good human being. And I hope that I could be the same as that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I was wondering what you did to prepare for the role of Antari.
It took a lot of work. I think the thing that was the hardest for me was my voice. Like, and so many people hear me speak and they're like, that's higher than I expected. So that was the hardest thing, but the rest of it I find, like, once you put it, first of all, the script's so well written. And then once you put the costume on and you're standing in like these incredible arenas, it's like you truly feel completely immersed in it and that you become the character. Thank you.
Were you there the whole time they filmed 304 when they were doing the Lexa Rowan fight?
It was the coolest thing I've ever seen in my whole life.
Tell us about filming that day.
That day, like, I was just so starstruck. Like, I wish that they could have had, instead of extras that day, they could have had fans, because like to sit there was just like, it was mind-blowing. It was, watching the two of them work together, it was like watching a dance. It was so well choreographed. It was absolutely beautiful.
And your reaction when Lexa spears the Ice Queen?
That was dope. And I thought it was a real badass moment. And of course, in reading the script, I hope it was a similar experience to watching it, where there was a feeling where it was like you truly didn't know what was going to happen next. And then out of nowhere, for that spear to go flying, I thought that was a really, really cool moment.
We didn't see it, but what do you think Antari did after that moment? Like, where did she go?
That's a fantastic question. I assume she would have gone with Rowan somewhere, because he would have known, if nothing else, that like, she was it. Like, she was their last, not Lita. So I assume they would have gone somewhere together to be safe and maybe plan what was going to happen next.
So interesting, yeah, the behind like the stuff we didn't see.
Yeah, what's going on, yeah.
There's an interest online. I think there's even a petition to have a Grounder's backstory.
Wouldn't that be dope? I watch all those videos. Like, I think that would be so cool.
I mean, have you seen there's comics that fans have created for the backstory for not just Lexa, but for the Grounders? It's pretty incredible.
Totally, and they've got like, was the role? The one that Deechin played.
Oh, Anya.
Like all of us. I think it would have been really cool to see all of us come together. It would have been super, super cool.
Totally, and like that's why like, Echo too. I'm so curious to see grounders in space because how the hell is that going to work?
I know.
Right.
Very cool. Yeah.
Hello.
Hi. I was just wondering if do you think that Tori was still alive for her and Clark? If she found out Clark helped her, would they have a friendship of some sorts or a leadership role together? If she like stayed as head up?
I think that she hopefully would have seen that there's a lot to learn from Clark, and that Clark really knows what she's doing. I don't think Clark would have liked Antari, but I hope that she could have learned from Clark. Yeah. Thank you. Hello again.
I have another question.
Yes.
So if Antari had have like somehow survived, where would you have liked to see her story go? Like, what would you have liked her to kind of go on and do?
I would have liked to see some kind of redemption. I felt that the character almost deserved that. I understand why I had to leave. It totally makes sense. But I really, really would have liked to see there's good in everyone. And there had to be some kind of good in there. I would have loved to see her form some relationships. And again, similar to what we talked about yesterday, I would have loved to see her in a circumstance where she wasn't just trying to survive, and just see her relax into it a little bit. That would have been cool. Thank you. Hi, honey, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Good.
My question is my favorite to ask, but what actor or actress or singer would you completely fangirl to meet?
Well, last night I was dreaming about Jennifer Lawrence. Like,
You're not alone.
So definitely Jennifer Lawrence. Thank you.
That's a good answer. Are there any roles of hers that you're like, oh my god, that would have been a dream?
Silver Linings. I love that movie so much. And I think dance is like my first love in life. To do a movie where I would be able to do both, and then there's Bradley Cooper, which isn't so bad. So yeah, I think it would have been wonderful to be a part of something like that.
When you were younger, was Dirty Dancing a thing for you?
Huge thing. And then like when I was old enough to know better, like I still loved things like High School Musical. Love that stuff.
Are there any current shows that you're watching that you love?
I just finished the latest season of Shameless, which I love. Other than that, I only watch like really awful reality TV.
Kardashians?
I was watching that on the plane.
Okay, just checking. I actually was wondering about, thinking about what we didn't know about Antari. We knew you were a grounder.
Yes.
There are different, obviously, tribes of grounders and clans, rather. What do you think Antari thought of Lexa? That she was the commander of all. It doesn't necessarily mean that there was necessarily respect, or how do you think their relationship was?
Well, see, did the queen like her? No. And I think she was literally exactly just parroting whatever the queen was telling her. It was like a brainwashed sort of situation where if the queen said jump, Antari was like, how high? So therefore, she would have thought exactly the same as the queen thought.
Hi, Megan. You said you were watching Shameless. I just wanted to know, was it weird seeing Zach play someone so stupid? And King Rowan was like, yeah, and like Jody was so dumb. Was it weird like watching him
Well,
like
I
that?
didn't know he was in it. I forgot. And I was again sitting watching with my boyfriend. I was like, that's Zach. Oh my God, that's Zach.
Yeah, it gets a little racy with him, so it would feel a little awkward.
Yeah, it was like, it just really showed, and I'm sure you guys thought the same, just what an incredible actor he is. To be able to do both of those things, like King Rowan and then this, which was Shameless, like it's just like one end to the other. Like, yeah, it was awesome to watch. Thank you.
Spoiler alert, he gets naked in Shameless.
Oh, I felt really weird saying to him because I wanted to, when I saw him at the convention, I wanted to tell him I just watched him in Shameless and that he was great, but then I felt that there was this awkward moment where it's like, I saw you naked. Now it's awkward.
Did you watch Bachelorette?
No, that's the one I didn't get into. Should I? Okay. Sorry.
Can you tell us what it was like to work with Brenda Strong?
She's a legend, like quite literally. I remember when we were first working together, I was like, her voice sounds so familiar. And then finding out that she was the voice on Desperate Housewives, like she's iconic. And such, like, not a surprise, like everyone in the cast, such a good, nice person.
And we didn't get enough of her, really.
Not enough, and I don't know why. I really do think they could have used some flashbacks with her. I think it would have been very cool to see. Yeah,
Just like a whole season's worth of flashback for the Grounders. I mean,
exactly.
I mean, how many clans are there? You know,
I know.
I'm just saying we could use a season of each.
Yes, exactly.
Like, I want to know about the people with the glowy flowers. Like, what's their deal? You know?
Yeah, I love that.
I knew you knew the name.
Yeah.
Anyone else have any questions for Miss Lovely Rhiannon Fish? It's chill, it's the first morning.
I feel it. We're all feeling it a little bit. Yeah.
I really can't.
No, you're fine, honey.
That's cool. Yes, would you like to ask a question?
So, Antari was snatched from her parents. Do you think she's originally from the Ice Nation or a different clan?
Oh.
Your question was, do you think that Antari was originally from the Ice Nation or not because she was snatched as a child?
Well, we know she was a Nightblood, so I mean, she could have been from any of the clans, right? I don't know. It's so weird. No, I think she was probably always in Ice Nation, but maybe with a good family, and then was taken from there. I can't imagine her being from a different clan because Ice Nation is cool. I mean, I know they did some shady things, but I would have assumed she's always part of Ice Nation. Thank you.
I just thought of another one. So if Antari had a theme song, what would it be?
Oh, someone had a great one once. What? Oh, bitch better have my money.
Excellent question and answer. What's your personal theme song?
Oh, Rhiannon. Like the Fleetwood Mac song. Yeah.
Fleetwood Mac, excellent. Oh, we should have played that, Mike, next time.
Next time.
Well, I think that's it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rhiannon Fish. You're welcome to stay here. Our next panel, I believe, will be Mr. Bob Morley. So hang out, and I'm sure it's going to fill up real soon, and we'll be back in a few.